I lost 17 pounds in 8 weeks. Did I lose muscle? Did I starve myself? How did I do it? I'm here to show you. Let's get right to it. Most people try to lose weight fast and they end up losing their mind, their muscle, and their metabolism in the process. 8 weeks ago, I was 215 pounds. Today, I'm sitting at a mere 198. That's over 17 pounds down in just 2 months. But what most people don't see in the photos is that I kept my strength, I kept my muscle, and I set myself up to build even more after the cut ends. Now for reference, I'm 5'11", I'm 22 years old, and I've been through enough cuts to know what works and what absolutely destroys your progress. So as I mentioned before, today I'm gonna break down exactly how I did this aggressive cut correctly. The calories I started at, how I adjusted them, the cardio, progression, my exact meal plan, and why aggressive cuts should only last a specific amount of time, because too many of you do it for way too long. And of course, if you're tired of going round and round in the same loop where you try to diet and you don't even know if you're making the progress and you're losing muscle, everything. If you want me to build for you this exact system that worked for me, the link to book a call with me is in the description. Anyway, let's get to it. First, we need to start off with the numbers, starting point and progression. We have to start with the math because fitness is math whether you like it or not. So we're gonna have to do some calculations to ensure that we can actually hit the goal that we want. To start off, when I was 215 pounds, my maintenance calories was around 3,600 calories. Now the way I was able to find my maintenance calories was through something called a TDEE calculator. You can simply search this up on Google and you just quickly fill out your information. You'll get an estimate of what your calories are at maintenance, depending on your activity level, your height, your weight, etc. Just a simple trick that everyone should do to get an idea of what your body actually needs calorie-wise. Now, let's get right back to it. I didn't start with some ridiculous 1,000 calorie deficit. I started at a 600 calorie deficit, which puts me at 3,000 calories. Aggressive enough to see movement and smart enough to keep my workouts from falling apart. Now, here's a mistake that most people make. They crash down to 2,000 calories a day, kill their energy, and wonder why they're miserable and not losing weight. Your body needs time to adapt. You want to create a deficit that's sustainable, not one that makes you want to quit, and especially not one that leads you to just binge eating 3 days after. Over the 8 weeks, I slowly dropped my calories down to 2,200. Small adjustments, not massive jumps, all right? This keeps your metabolism from slamming the brake too hard. All of this applies to everything else. So same with my cardio. Week 1 was 20 minutes, 5 days a week. By week 8, I was doing an hour daily. Steps started at 10,000 a day, and I ended it up averaging at 15 to 18,000 steps by the end of the 8 weeks. The key here is progression. You don't throw everything at the wall at once. You start, you adapt, you push a little more. You have to be smart about it. Now let's get into the fuel, the intra-workout and pre/post-workout meals. This is how I actually fuel this thing because that's where most people get it backwards. Meal 1 was my pre-workout meal. Again, this is what worked for me, but I started off my day with cream of rice, protein powder, peanut butter, and fruits. Fast digesting carbs. Why? Because when you're in a deficit, every bit of energy matters for your training session. If you go into the training session empty, your intensity will drop and your muscle loss will start creeping in 100%. So during my session, I also had an intra-workout drink with carb powder. Now, not everyone needs intra-workout. If your session is under 60 minutes and you're not training at a high intensity, you probably don't need it. But when you're pushing heavy in a deficit, maintaining blood glucose and glycogen matters. Strategic carbohydrate intake around training time can help maintain performance when calories are restricted. For me, it kept my energy up and my recovery on point. Now let's get into the meal 2, which is my immediate post-workout meal. It was simple, chicken and rice with a side salad. Heavy on carbs again, because this is a non-negotiable. Your glycogen storages are depleted. If you don't replenish them, your recovery will suffer and your next workout will suffer. You're not building muscle in a deficit, but you're damn sure trying to keep what you have, all right? You gotta think of it kind of like a car. You start off your workout, you're full, your tank is full. Right? By the end of the workout, your tank is empty. You gotta refill it before you hit the road again. So make sure you're eating a good, heavy post-workout meal, especially in a deficit. So here's what the rest of my day looks like. 5 meals, same foods every day, just quantities changed as the calories were dropped, of course. So meal 3 was oats, protein powder, dark chocolate, and some fruits. Yes, dark chocolate. Dieting doesn't mean suffering, all right? It means being strategic with what you enjoy. I love my chocolate, so I'm gonna have a little bit, especially with my oats, because that's how you make them properly. Meal 4, beef, sweet potatoes, and a side salad. Now, of course, red meat in a cut is absolutely essential, okay? Iron, zinc, vitamin B, and all of these things, they help keep you full. It's also important to look at your micronutrients, especially when you're in a steep deficit. Heading over to my meal 5, it was a simple eggs, mashed potato, turkey ham, and some fruits with vegetables. Those are all the meals I was eating during my training day. Same foods every day. Again, why? Because when you're in an aggressive cut, decision fatigue is real. So just remove the guesswork. Eat the same quality foods, adjust the portions, and track your progress accurately. Now here's the small little secret and smart part that I do in my cuts, is that I remove my pre-workout meal, my meal 1, and my intra-workout drink when there's no training. No training means less demand for fuel. The rest of the meals stay the same, but the carbs were reduced by around 200 calories total. This is what's called carb cycling. On training days, you feed performance. On rest days, you reduce what you don't need. This keeps you sensitive to food so that when the cut ends, your body is primed to use those carbs for muscle building instead of fat storage. Now let's get over to the science why this works and why I say aggressive cut should only be 90 days max. When you drop your calories, your body will adapt. Hormones like leptin drop, which increases hunger and can slow your metabolism. By strategically keeping your carbs higher around workouts and reducing them on rest days, you help manage that hormonal response. But here's a hard truth that I need you to hear. An aggressive cut should not last more than 90 days. 8 to 12 weeks max. But why? Because the longer you're in a deep deficit, the more your body will fight back. Cortisol will creep up, testosterone can drop, and your recovery just goes to and eventually you plateau and you start losing the muscle you're trying to protect. During my 8 weeks, there was days where energy dropped hard. When that happens, you don't just push through it, all right? You adjust. A temporary increase in carbs, 200 to 300 calories, can save your progress. It's a strategic refeed. This helps regulate leptin and give your body a break so that you can actually keep pushing. Now let's talk about why a sharp or aggressive cut can set you up for success if you're trying to build more muscle in the long run. Here's what most people miss. How you end the cut determines how you look after it, okay? Very important. If you starve yourself and crash your metabolism and lose muscle, you'll rebound like a balloon. If you do it right, like how I'm telling you, you put yourself in the perfect position to build quality muscle. I finished this cut at 198 pounds. Leaner, still strong, and my body is now primed to use the food efficiently. When I increase calories back to maintenance and slightly above, those carbs will go towards the muscle because my system is sensitive and it's not just broken. That's the difference between looking good for a photo and building a physique that you can actually maintain for years to go on. Now, of course, you may have realized I didn't include any of these training programs that I did because I want you to understand that training is not what will cause fat loss. Ensuring that your diet, your steps, and your cardio are on check is what will actually cause the results that you want. Your training comes apart from that. It's good to focus on your training, but the diet is where it's at. All right, look, I laid out exactly what I did. The calories, meals, the strategy. But here's the thing. What worked for me, again, being 5'11", 22 years old, with my training history, might need adjustments for you. Everyone's body responds differently. Your schedule, your stress, your recovery capacity, all of it matters. That's why cookie cutter plans from the internet usually are not the best to follow. And I'm not telling you to follow exactly what I did. But if you want someone to build this exact system for you, personalized to your body, your goals, your life, click the link in the description, book a call with me or the women's coach, and we'll map out the cut, your bulk, and your recomp. And I'll be in your corner every step of the way so that we can get it done.